lot of people love to tell me how strong I am and how this and that. They have no idea of the type of work that I'm putting in to be
Mm.
able to show up, and they don't get to see all of those parts. They just see the end result, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's a journey. It's a lot of work. I do feel like we do have a choice. God does not want us to live with fear, anxiety, depression, because he told us he is the giver of peace.
Hey, it's your girl Marilyn Shaw, your favorite therapist and the host of the Faith Therapy podcast. Get ready for honest conversations with women leaders who share how they navigate life's challenges while holding on to faith and prioritizing mental health. Each episode will give you practical tools to renew your mind, restore your faith, and redefine your life. Faith Therapy is more than just a podcast. We're a movement dedicated to bridging the gap between faith and mental wellness. So be sure to share and subscribe. And while the information in this episode is valuable, it's not a substitute for a relationship with a licensed professional. If you like help finding one, visit myfaiththerapy.com. That's myfaitherapy.com. Let's dive into today's conversation. I am so excited to have the phenomenal Dr. Jamellah Johnson. She is an educational thought leader with nearly 3 decades of experience. Listen, she is known for her transformative leadership and passion for learning, teaching, and leading. Dr. Johnson has several notable accomplishments throughout her career. But at the top of the global pandemic, when we were all at home navigating life through this new lens for all of us, she began radically transforming her mental, physical, and emotional health. From overcoming depression to navigating the tragic loss of her oldest son, my cousin, and the passing of her father at the same time. Now more than ever, Dr. Johnson is standing on business and taking ownership of her healing journey. Let's get into our conversation. Dr. Jamellah Johnson, I am so excited to have you on the Faith Therapy podcast. How are you?
I am absolutely thrilled to be here. I love faith therapy, and it's truly my honor and privilege to be here tonight. I'm feeling good,
Good,
excited.
good. And full disclosure, for those of you that are listening and watching, Dr. Johnson is my cousin. She is the first visual beyond my mom where I got to just watch her grow up and be like a mentor cousin, to see like her ambition, drive, leadership. And I always said as a young girl, when I grow up, I want to be like her. So to have her on the
Oh.
podcast is just amazing to me. Like, I remember like you being in your room, putting your lipstick on, your mascara, the way you did your hair, like all of it just was like, I want to be like her. So I am so grateful to have you on the podcast. So every question I ask all guests, when did faith and mental health come together for you?
I would say it was probably during the pandemic, because during that time I realized my emotional well-being was suffering big time. And I couldn't figure out, I mean, obviously that was a very sad and disruptive time in our nation, but it was like for so much of my life, I've been able to lean on my faith to help me navigate whatever challenge that I faced. But during that particular time, it was just not enough.
Mm.
I was becoming depressed. Um, I was talking to my leader at that time, and she asked me, like, she's a woman of faith and who right now she's studying to actually be a minister. I love her dearly. She has
Yeah.
really been a force of nature in my life. At any rate, though, I was having a one-to-one with her, and she was asking me about my media consumption. like, why am I feeling so low, so down and out? And I was like, well, and she asked me, did I watch the news? And I'm like, yeah, I do watch the news. And she suggested, why don't you stop watching the news and see how you feel?
Yeah.
And I literally stopped watching the news in 2020, and I have not looked back. Like, I literally don't. I used to be the type of person that turned on the news every single day for whatever time. I'd have forgotten what time they even come on, 5 and 10 o'clock or whatever it was. I
Yeah.
was that girl. Since then, I I have not done that. That did help to lift my spirits, but I was also going through a lot of personal challenges at that time. And
Mm-hmm.
so that is when I started to reach out for help because I needed help. And for me, it was a very difficult decision to like seek out a therapist to help me. I probably took longer than I should have to get that type of support. But when I
Okay.
tell you that was the best decision I ever made for myself,
Yeah.
Lord, I don't want to get emotional doing this, doing this, but I learned so much about myself and things that I didn't even know I needed to heal from. I was able
Mm.
to heal from through therapy, and it has it's like been a staple, honestly, in my life since then. I have not like literally. I can't think of a time where I don't. I've been in therapy since 2020,
Okay.
literally. Now it has shifted,
Yeah.
um, but my focus back then was just really working on myself, how I communicate, how
Mm-hmm.
I show up for others, how I am being able to just be aware of my own feelings and acknowledging that though they exist, because I do feel like growing up that was not something we focused on. What are
Right.
feelings? If you get a whooping, it don't hurt, stop crying. Those types of
Yes.
things that became ingrained in me, so I didn't think it was okay to feel.
Mm.
And so learning about that, and then especially having feelings that, just give it to God, or the thought process, just give it to God. Well, I thought I was doing that. And I'll be the first to admit that my faith journey is still, there are more chapters to be written, because my faith
Absolutely.
has been shaken. I've been through a lot in my life, and God and I have been having it out over the last couple of years, few years. And so I know that I have a lot to learn still,
Mm-hmm.
but that is really when it began for me,
You know
when
what
I
I find?
made that connection.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that. Was it hard for you to reach out for help, considering the fact that you're a leader in higher education now, but then you also spent a considerable amount of time of your career in K through 12 as a principal, as a classroom leader, all of that. So you saw, what it was like to hold space for children and their families,
Mm-hmm.
now being in a position where that has been completely disrupted because of the pandemic, right? And now having your moment to actually reflect on your own needs. And I'm glad that you brought up the fact that it was challenging for you. Even though it took a little bit of time, you still went through the process of recognizing this has been something that you've needed in your life. What I really wanted to get into our time to date is to look at how, for the last couple of years, you have been really transforming your physical health too. Since 2020, you've been in going to therapy, but you've also have been spending time on being on this cross training journey at a
Mm-hmm.
later stage in your life. What was that? Why was that so intentional for you? Like, if y'all don't know what I'm talking, like, you have to go and look at Dr. Johnson's social media. She documents this journey of hers, which is so inspiring. But what was the catalyst for you to take that road?
So in 2020, I found myself having to have an emergency. I want to say C-section, but it wasn't a C-section, a hysterectomy. I won't go into the gory details about that, but that really was a defining moment in my life, because it took me 6 weeks to recover from that surgery. After I recovered from that surgery, I was able to got the all clear to start being able to move my body again. Well, shortly after that, once I started moving and trying to move, I started having back spasms and all of these issues with my back. My back literally went out. I could not walk without pain.
Wow.
And so I didn't know what to do. It wasn't getting any better. I tried to pretend that it wasn't that bad. And I was just getting worse. And when I realized I needed to do something, I had the twins in the car with me, and a
Mm-hmm.
spasm hit me out of nowhere, and I almost lost control of the car. So that's when I was like, okay, God's trying to tell you something. You cannot
Yeah.
continue to ignore the pains and everything that you're having in your body. But see, literally, I had been living with pain before I had that surgery, uh, and didn't even know it. We're just so used to carrying
Yes.
pain and extra weight. Like I thought that was normal, like what I was going through. And
Wow.
I literally felt like a new woman. I'm going all over the place right now, but I got to say this.
No, you are
after
doing, you're right where
after
you're supposed to
I
be.
had that surgery, I literally felt like a new woman. I had
Wow.
no idea. I felt so much lighter and so much liberated. It was literally empowering for me. And so that
Yeah.
was a life changing moment for me that I didn't even know that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And so fast forward some months after this, the back issues start. I decide I finally needed to do something about it. I go to my chiropractor. I go, and I, against judgments from others, because in our community, we don't believe in going to the chiropractor. They going to
Yeah.
break this. They going to do. I turned down all the noise and I did what I thought was best for me.
That's
And
right.
that was a very profound decision, because basically he was able to assess my situation. He gave me a treatment plan, and he let me know right then and there that you're going to have to be doing this for the rest of your life if you want to gain your mobility back and be able to continue to move. So what he was talking about: exercise, stretching,
Yeah.
walking, moving my body, because when you get to be my age, um, everything starts to deteriorate naturally. That's
Mm.
that's the way the body is designed. We can slow it down through exercise. And so I wanted to exercise so bad, because I'm like, Lord, I don't want to be immobile. At the same time, I'm watching my dad lose his mobility and everything. And that was a whole nother thing. I was not even, you know what I'm saying? I felt
Yeah.
like I would be in the same position that he would be in, literally, because that's how it started with him, was with back pain.
Mm.
So that
Wow.
too was motivation for me to take better care of myself, because I'm literally watching my father, who chose not to do things that doctors ordered him to do, watch his health deteriorate, watch him lose his mobility. And so I'm like, I'm going to do this for him. I'm most importantly, I'm doing this for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so of doing that treatment, I finally got strong enough and well enough where I was given the all clear to begin other types of exercises. And so I decided at 49 years old that I'm going to do CrossFit.
Yes. Yes. And you are doing it. Yes.
I don't know what I was thinking about and why I decided to do that. But at 49 years old, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And if there was a 6-week challenge, and
Okay.
I thought that, okay, I can do anything for 6 weeks and we'll see how it goes. Well, six
Yeah.
weeks has turned into 3 years. That is
Wow.
how much I literally fell in love with that. And one of the reasons why is I just believe that it's something very powerful about a community of people with similar goals. We all want to get
Yes.
stronger. We want to get better, coming together and putting in that work together. It is incredibly empowering. It is the community, the coaching, the connection, and also just seeing how not only the transformation that people don't see is what happens on the inside. And I
Mm.
do believe that God, I know he put, I didn't know this back then, but after I lost my son and my father, realize I've been reflecting on this. Literally, my CrossFit anniversary is literally 16 months to the day that I lost
Wow.
Justin.
Wow.
I don't think that's by chance.
No.
See, I thought I was going there to get fit by 50. That's what I was telling myself. That was my goal. That's what I
Yeah.
told them. I'm 49. I got a 50th birthday coming up, this and that. I want to get fit by 50. Well, I realized I was put on that path not to get fit by 50,
Yeah.
because when I learned of what happened to my son, that was the only thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to, because I was furious, incredibly
Yes.
angry,
Yes.
outraged, all the feelings that you can possibly imagine. And I still deal with those feelings to this day. And so that the CrossFit is what helped me to express those feelings in a way that was healing versus toxic
Absolutely.
or worse.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Yeah.
So it was my way of dealing with that. And like, I didn't know that I would even need that, because I have a short fuse. I'm not the most patient person in the world, and I know that about myself. And I do believe that God put me on that path so that I would have that as my tool to help me navigate, because he knows everything. He knows what's ahead of us. And
Yeah.
so he set me up so that I can continue to evolve, and versus, I don't even want to think about what would have happened had I not had that as a space for me to be able to go and deal with how I feel in
Yeah.
a safe space.
Yeah. What inspires me now, just watching your journey, is just how intentional you have been with your own wellness. Like, you've really taken the reins over your life, starting with your mental health by asking for help, having a conversation with a colleague that led you to do some modifications about what you consume, and
Mm-hmm.
also going to therapy and being consistent with that process, but then also adding to the fact how, I'm going to insert this, your awareness around people in general. We will normalize pain and be
Yes.
so slow to do anything about it. We will normalize it, overcompensate for it as a means to just push through to the next thing instead of dealing with the root cause of the pain. But your level of being intentional about dealing with the pain, physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, all of that, you've really taken ownership around that. What you want your life to be is so incredible. So many of the listeners and watchers of this podcast, they're leaders, right? And
Mm-hmm.
more than anything, I want them to take away from this conversation, not that life will always be sunshine and rainbows and,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be having glory days and your faith is going to be on top of the mountain and everything's going to be moved. No, it's really about that as a leader, God has given us dominion to take ownership of our wellness. And what it does
Yes.
require is you need a team. You need
Yeah, that was the
people.
biggest thing I learned.
Yes, you need people to help you with that.
Ah, and sometimes, like, the people who have been, I tell people all the time, sometimes the people you need to help you are not the people that you see every single day and talk to on a regular basis,
That's
because
right.
they are not always in the space or in a journey to help you with certain aspects of life. And so, and then, and like, when you're on a grief journey, like in my family, all of us are grieving. Our family has been through a lot. And so I knew early on that I was going to have to take this by the reins if I wanted to show up. It has not been easy by any means. A lot of people love to tell me how strong I am and how this and that. They have no idea the type of work that I'm putting in to be
Mm,
able to show up, and they don't get to see all of those parts. They just see the end result, so to speak.
yeah.
And it's a journey. It's a lot of work. And I do feel like we do have a choice. God does not want us to live with fear, anxiety, depression, because He told us He is the giver of peace.
Yes.
So we don't anything anytime we're feeling like that, or when I'm feeling like that, I know that is not of God. My
Mm-hmm.
peace is not based on my circumstances. It's
Say
based on my
that again.
relationship with God.
Yeah.
Not like I don't. Sometimes I wonder if God, if He gonna let me in when it's time. Because I've been lamenting. I've been doing the most. But I have not. I can't say that I ever lost faith. But
Yeah.
but it has definitely. I have really questioned Him, and the good thing is I have learned that it is okay to question Him. What's
Absolutely.
not okay, because He is my maker, so who else am I gonna question? I can't
Yeah.
demand answers from Him though. And so
Mm.
the scripture, Proverbs 3:5, that is my anchor. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like I have it is and it's so like I'm like, God, why did you make me this way? I want to know who, what, where, when, how, why, all of that type of stuff. And now
Yeah.
I got to trust in the Lord with all my heart, lean not on my what?
Yes.
Why you so I know that's what He want me to learn.
Yes.
I know that. I know that. And so that's what I've been trying to do is be obedient and truly trust Him.
Yeah. And I like the fact that you said that it's not easy, and but at the same time the level of determination that you have to be consistent on that journey. For some people that walk through grief or any challenge in life, whether it be the loss of a loved one, a loss of a career, a loss of hope of any kind, right? Of the feeling of
Mm-hmm.
hopelessness, knowing that the faith is the substance of things hoped for. So meaning if you are experiencing hopelessness, it does impact your faith. It does
Yes.
impact your ability to believe in a way that you feel like that mountain can really be moved. However, it hasn't stopped you from getting up every single day and taking ownership of your healing journey, and to know that you are not afraid to rely on resources to help you through that process, and to not fake the funk, because sometimes people will say these sayings to themselves: I'm blessed and highly favored, God got me, all of these things, as a mean to suppress their pain or their emotions,
Mm-hmm.
instead of actually taking ownership of it and going and getting help. There's also this rhetoric in faith spaces where it's like, don't claim it, don't claim this, don't claim that,
Exactly.
and if you claim it, it's gonna come and get you. Well, let me help you out here for a second. We're human. So therefore, there are things
Yes.
that we will experience as humans that will unfortunately be a part of our story. Whether you acknowledge it or not, or claim it or not, it's still a part of our experience. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, what are you going to do about it?
And that,
How are you going to
yes.
navigate from that place in order for you to live a life of peace, true peace? True peace. I want you to give us insight about what does peace look like for you, even though you have ebbs and flows, even though things are not peaches and cream.
Mm-hmm.
What do peace look like for you?
For me, it's really like simple things. It's more of a how do I describe, like my mindset and how my heart feels.
Yeah,
So, and what I mean by that is like I have gotten really good at creating space for things like certain feelings. I'll just call them negative feelings, even though I don't truly believe any feeling is a negative feeling. But let's just say I am feeling anger. Well, I allow
yeah,
myself to feel that and then I release it. I'm not
mm,
supposed to carry that, because if I continue to carry the anger can turn into bitterness and resentment and to all these different things that make it even harder for me to show up first for myself as a
yeah,
child of God and for any other role that I serve in. And I say it like that because sometimes we forget who we are and who we belong to.
yes,
And for me, peace comes from recognizing I am. I am the daughter of the Most High.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I am,
Yes.
yeah, I am somebody's mama, I'm somebody's daughter. Yeah, but when I was created in the womb, I didn't have any of those titles. You know what I'm saying? We come out in
You
this
gotta
world and
say
we get
that.
all these different titles. Dr. Jamellah, da, 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 da. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of titles, but truth be told, I am the daughter of the Most High. I am who He says I am.
Yes.
Period. So I am not all this other stuff. And I'm grateful that I get to serve in these different roles, but that's not who I am at my core. So I
Right.
find peace in the moments where I just allow myself to be obedient, and it could be me literally going to the gym because I do believe him letting me, because I went from, like, I'm not an athlete at all. So me getting involved in this is a huge, me stepping way outside of my comfort zone. And like, that's a way of worship for me now. It
Yeah.
literally is. Because
Yeah.
he is the one that's like, I literally say, Lord, you say you'll never forsake me. Well, hey, I'm doing these burpees. Don't let me die out here doing these burpees. Like, these are the type of conversations that we have.
I know that's right.
So, and so in those quiet moments where I get to practice solitude, and I
Yeah.
like to differentiate between solitude and being lonely. That's not the same.
Right.
And isolation too, because
Right.
I have done all of the above, but in solitude I am able to be like, honor my true self, ground myself, and be able to access and embody peace
Yes.
that only he can provide. But when I have all of the noise and 15 million things going on, it's really challenging then. So stillness, practicing solitude, those are the types of things that really help me to embody peace. That's what it feels like for me. And sometimes it could just be me sipping on a hot cup of coffee with a book. It could look that way, or it could be me up in the gym, spending quality time with my family with no distractions,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. So what it sounds like, I want to go back to something that you said, that no emotion is bad. But what you've learned to do is you honor the emotion, you acknowledge what it is, and
Mm-hmm.
learn how to release it. And I think sometimes where leaders get tripped up is we've been taught that you suppress your emotions and push
Mm-hmm.
through to the next task or the next thing, or to show up to the next thing. And it's, you can't express your emotions because you might be viewed as unhinged, unstable, that you don't know how to operate. But however, what you've given is a full blueprint around what happens when you do acknowledge your emotion, not to label them as good or bad, but to acknowledge it so that you can gain wisdom around, all right, I need to release this so it doesn't continue to fester and grow into something that becomes even worse than what it is. And I love the fact that you define the difference between loneliness and isolation and solitude. Because when you are walking through a grief journey, some people will say, just continue to stay busy. If you stay busy, then
Mm.
you'll continue to push through. You'll just be fine. That's not true.
It
The
sure
rea-
isn't.
the reality is, it grief is unexpected. It comes in waves. It's just very, it's nuanced. However, the fact that you've developed this relationship with yourself, that's what it truly is. You have a clear picture of who you are, whose you are, beyond your labels, beyond your titles, to recognize that when you honor your needs, everything else becomes a little bit easier. Not perfect, but easier to
Yes.
navigate through. What would you say to somebody? It's the holiday season, right? And there
Mm-hmm.
is a cultural expectation for you to be excited, jubilant, decorations, Christmas carols, all the things, and they don't They don't have it. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
actually irritated if they walk through a store and they hear another jingle bells and snowman and all the things, right?
Yeah.
There's this discontentment going on. What would you say to that person?
My standard answer is like it goes to the three C's, because I do feel like you can, that's something that you can use in any situation. So the three C's are choose. The first C is choose what is best for you,
Yes.
whatever that might look like.
Yes.
And so we don't have to put on perform if putting on a performance is not your choice, then say no to it. It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. We do not have to conform to societal expectations. And so I think that that is incredibly important, to choose what's best for you. Also, communicate. Communication is key,
It
especially when
is.
you're on a grief journey. A lot of times, people, like even myself, when I think about how I was prior to experiencing great loss, we will do you're in my prayers, you're just say things to people and pretty much keep it moving, not even realizing that for those individual who has experienced a great loss, their lives will never be the same.
No.
And it is going to be different for them. Like their whole world is different, from the grief fog to the heartache to everything that comes along with great loss, that I didn't even know anything about this. I've been learning about this on my own journey. And so we do have to advocate for ourselves, which can be incredibly scary to do, to communicate, especially if you don't have people in your circle that you feel safe communicating with
This is true.
about your needs. So we have to be willing to find the people that we do feel safe with. And it might not be who you think it is or who you think it should be. It could
Right.
be some strangers.
Yes.
Like for me, Grief Share was a space where I was able to express exactly, like if I chose to, because there was a time when I first started with that, because I did it for 3 rounds, 13-week rounds. And initially, when I first started, I wasn't one of the people that would share. But after being in the space, I felt like it was a safe space, and they earned my trust. And I was able to share different things that I was going through based on the lessons, and being able to communicate in a safe space has been incredibly healing for me personally.
Yes.
So I do believe that we're not meant to do grief alone.
No.
So whether we like it or not, at some point we're going to have to muster up the courage to be able to communicate with someone who we feel safe to do that with, and,
Absolutely.
and be open. I do believe God has sent people into my life during this chapter of my life to help me on this journey, specifically for the season that I'm in right now. And so that's important as well, being able to communicate, choosing what's best with you. And then the last C is connect,
Yes.
because depression just grows when we
Hmm.
choose to isolate. Isolating is different from practicing solitude. For me, practicing solitude is like I'm trying to ground myself, connect with God, hear from God, those types of things. Whereas isolation is I am intentionally avoiding all people,
Yeah.
under all circumstances.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? And
Yes.
I don't want to connect with anybody.
Right.
That is not always a healthy space to be in, because it's going to create the energy that breeds all of those fears and anger and all of that stuff that makes it really hard for us to be able to move forward in grief. And
Yes.
so yeah, so those three C's: connect, choose,
Right.
communicate, and connect.
I love that. I love that. Choose,
Mm,
communicate, and connect. I love the first part is the choice that we have to make the
Mm-hmm.
ownership that we have to acknowledge in order for us to communicate and for us to also to connect. I just love the way that you laid that out there for people. So right now we're wrapping up our last session of gratitude and grief, which is a series that was laid on my heart to do for the holiday season
Mm-hmm.
for people
Yay.
who are navigating loss. And I also recognize in this process that loss is different forms for people, right?
Yeah.
And we did this exercise where I asked them to think of a flower, and I wanted them to the center of the flower to be the person, the loved one that you were acknowledging. So, what would be their favorite thing, their favorite color of some kind? And then the petals to represent wisdom of their life that you still hold on to. What is something that you've gained from them that is helping you to be that stem? When you think of a stem of a flower, it is so delicate, but it's
Mm-hmm.
strong enough to hold up the flower
Yeah.
itself. And I feel like that is a beautiful depiction of what grief can feel like for people, where when we reflect on the times of wisdom and gratitude and insight that we've gained from people who are no longer in our life, we can think about what's their favorite thing, what's the thing that I've been able to gain wisdom from to give me strength to continue on. So I would love for
Mm-hmm.
you to share about Justin. Justin is my younger cousin, and that young man, he he just embodied, like, his swag was so commanding. He would walk into a room and just the attention would be on him. He had this ability to love people, to like, but was a straight shooter too. Like, really could say what he meant what he said. And I really believe he got those qualities from his lovely mother. You don't mix words by any means. You say what you mean what you say, and your presence really does have the ability to shift a room. That's what I see when I think about how the generational influence of him being your son and who you are. So if you had to create that flower, what would be a favorite thing that was his, and three wisdoms or lessons that you learned from your amazing son?
Well, number one, his faith. That's going to be the center
Wow.
of it all. Yeah. Um, I got to pull this right here.
Yeah.
So this book right here, you can't even see the name of it because I've read it so many times, but it is Jesus Always Embracing Joy in His Presence by Sarah Young.
Okay.
And so this is a book that Justin and his partner were reading prior, like maybe a year or so prior to his passing. And she gifted it to me after he passed. And so that first year after his passing, we read it together because Justin was a man of faith. They never finished reading this book, but guess what, Justin? We did. And your
That's
mama has
right.
read it multiple times in your honor. And I do feel like this was his gift to all the women in his inner circle
Wow.
to help us on our healing journey. Because, Marilyn, I cannot, like, there were days that I would pick up this book and it was like God, I mean, it was literally speaking to me and exactly what I'm going through and feeling in that moment.
Mm,
So he he was a man of faith, and one of the beautiful things that came out of his passing, speaking of, of course I would much rather have Justin here.
absolutely.
um I am not God.
Yeah.
And so I do believe my loss of my son, it has to be for God's glory. It must be.
Yes.
And one of the beautiful things that came out of this is his partner did not initially have a relationship with God
Wow.
prior to his passing, but now she does.
Wow. 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 Wow.
You know, so his his impact on the lives of others, and not and I know this to be true for other people as well that were
Mhm.
in his circle. They have chosen to have a relationship with God because of Justin.
Wow.
I couldn't tell you how many people, but I do believe it's
Yeah.
profound. And
Yeah.
so characteristics like Justin, he, even when he was a child, he was a comforter.
Yeah.
You know, I can think about times when that boy, he would like be ready to, you know, he'd just be there. One situation in particular that comes to mind, it was when I was grieving the loss of a an unborn child,
Mm.
and he watched me. He was the only child at that time, so he got to see me walk that journey, and he was such a comforter during that time. I don't remember exactly how old he was, but he couldn't have been no more than about 14. No, he had to be younger than that, because he was, no, he had to be like 12 or 13,
Wow.
because the twins had not been born then.
Okay.
So that is a characteristic of him that I do believe is it was not just for me, though. That's one of the things that I learned after his passing. His hugs comforted, I won't say millions, but maybe I'm exaggerating. It might be though, because when I tell you, God has sent so many people to tell me about how just like I have so many stories to tell, unbelievable stories, really. That he was a comforter to many,
Yeah.
and 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 also a protector.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was the kind of kid, and even as an adult, if he thought somebody had wronged me, even if he was mad at me, he gonna he gonna handle the business. And one of the things that I loved about him the most, or that I love about him the most, is like he was a big dreamer, and I did not really know that until he became an adult.
Mm.
And we had one of the deepest, and I thank God for this conversation, because I don't know how I would feel right now if I never had this conversation with Justin. But when Justin was growing up, Justin was something else when he was growing up. And I never could figure out why. And one day we was having this conversation, and he was just telling me how, like, when he was in school, he was being bullied.
Mm.
And he never told me that he was being bullied in school. And so he thought that because I was in education and I would be on to work, and he, you know what I'm saying, he didn't want to burden me with that. And so I'm thinking he just acting up just to be acting up, but he was actually acting up because he was being bullied.
Mm.
And he had to, and I really like wish I told him, son, if you had told me that, I would have done what needed to be done. But
Right.
he chose not to burden me with that, in his own words, as a child, because he didn't want to upset me any further. But it was a very profound conversation, because it gave me an understanding of the things that the growing pains that he experienced. And as a mother, I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong, because I'm like, this is my child. He's doing X, Y, and Z. I'm not able, like, he was like, the money you spent on therapy, that was a waste of your money, mama. You shouldn't have. I wasn't talking to those people. That's what he told me. Like, I don't know why you did that. I'm like, boy, I was trying to help you. That because I'm not helping you. I thought maybe, because we literally was doing everything within our power to try to get him the help that we thought that he would need. But he was like, he wasn't taught. He said the best thing that happened to him was when he was retained in school, and he got away from that class where the bullies were.
I see.
He said that was the biggest blessing of his life. And so the class of 2013 that those kids, baby, when I tell you they love them some Justin, when he passed, you would have thought, I mean, it was they definitely showed up and showed their love for him, and he loved them big.
Yeah.
And I know because he told me how much
Yeah.
the people in his class meant to him. He's telling me this probably happened a couple of years before he passed.
Mm.
So it was you know, he had big dreams.
Right.
Big dreams. He wanted to be a warden. Now, I remember when Justin first told me, because I was in Florida when he first decided that he was going into this field, and I remember thinking, Lord, why does my son want to do this? I was
Yeah.
scared. I didn't want him
Yeah.
to do this. I'm thinking, my fear was really related to prisoners. I had no idea, which I don't want to get into all of
Right.
that, of what
Right.
would happen. But when I tell you he was dead, that was his dream.
Yeah.
That was something that he was incredibly passionate about. I didn't have that same type of passion for it, but he
Mm-hmm.
was, and I tried to be as supportive as I could. I remember when he completed his program. He was in Arkansas, and we went to the graduation. That was probably one of the happiest moments I ever saw him, literally.
Wow. Wow.
So I know, and one of the things that we talked about was when he started working in that field is that I told him, I said, even though you're working in a prison, make sure that no matter what you do, continue to let your light shine.
Yes.
So, because you don't know what these people have been through or why they're there. It could be some people, maybe they supposed to be there. Some of them may not even deserve to be there in this country that we live in.
Yeah.
You know, people get
Yeah.
railroaded and convicted and stuff for stuff they ain't have didn't even do in this country all the time.
Right.
And so I told him to never judge them and to let your light shine. And I don't have any doubt in my mind, heart, spirit that is exactly what he did.
Yes. 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 Absolutely.
Yes, he confirmed. I know he knows that's what he did. But even in my connections with everybody that knew him and loved him,
Mm-hmm.
they would say the same. My son is a
Absolutely.
hero.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to see
Yes.
you now really just not just to honor him, but in the way that you are walking your own journey is a testament of your love for him. And even knowing that not only are you walking through the grief of the loss of your son, but also your father at the same time in
Mm-hmm.
that process. But I feel like as we're sitting in this conversation, it just it reminds me of being that elementary going into middle school girl, watching you putting on your lipstick, doing your makeup, and just gleaning from the woman that you were young at that time, probably in your
Mm-hmm.
early mid 20s,
Yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
to fast
I was
forward.
yeah. I was 20 when I had Justin.
Wow. 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 And
Yeah,
the
and he was so proud of me because he loves to tell people my story, really, which is
yes.
also his story. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And the level of determination of you've always been a go-getter, and to see that now you're a go-getter for yourself, for
Mm-hmm.
your own wellness, for your own, like you just took the reins of your life and have really shifted what you want, what that peace looks like for you. And my hope that from our conversation today that listeners and viewers will gain the same perspective, that you can still take control of your life in a way that one, it honors the Lord, but also that you can have peace in the middle of some of the most tragic experiences. But it starts with you taking ownership
Yes.
from the perspective of your own healing journey, not to
Mm-hmm.
condemn or to find fault, or not that type of ownership. But what I'm saying is ownership where you are relentlessly pursuing your success in healing, your success in healing. High achievers, leaders, we are known for checking the box, getting the, letters before and after our name, but the to have that ownership around your own life, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. So, Dr.
Yeah.
Johnson, my big cousin, I am so grateful for you and giving so much insight. How can people connect with you? You are now in the wellness space. Yes. Yes. Do
Yes.
tell, do tell.
Well, I am, I don't know, like I'm old school, so y'all better just Google me, I guess.
Listen,
I
y'all
can't,
can find her on Facebook.
I
Search.
can't tell you what my Instagram handle is. I do have Instagram and I am on Facebook. So
Yes.
yeah.
And I'll put it in the show notes so people can find you. I love you so much, cousin. And let's pray to end our conversation.
I love you too, cuz.
Father, we just thank you for this moment. We thank you for your healing virtue through conversation. Lord, I just pray that everyone that tunes in and listens, they find hope, that they find gratitude in knowing that you are with them, that you are near and dear to the brokenhearted, and that this is not the end of their story, that they have the ability to stand in faith and commitment to you to allow them to have a new life. Father, I thank you for my cousin Jamellah and how you've sustained her and continue to watch over her. Father, continue to just give her the fortitude to live this life in peace and fulfillment. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Is that Nala?
That is, I guess she giving her amen too.
I know it. I'm coming out right on time too.
She did. She did. All right. I love you, cousin. I can't
I
wait to
love
see you
you.
soon.
All right. Take care. Love you too.